There's no doubt that the media played a huge, huge role in this year's election, and not in a good way. You had the left-leaning outlets like MSNBC telling people every day that Harris is running away with this, Donald Trump is too much of a disaster. And to be honest, a lot of us on the left, myself included, I think we also fell into that trap. But we fell into that trap based on the data. Nevertheless, it led a lot of people to be kind of shocked when Harris, in fact, did not win the election. And across the board, in progressive YouTube world, tens of thousands of subscribers lost, if not hundreds of thousands, between all of us that do this. I think all of us have, of course, rebounded at this point, but a lot of people, one, didn't want to hear the political news, and two, were disappointed with all of us in general because we all got it wrong. Or wrong to a degree. But anyway, that leads me to another question. This one is from at Huey Edward 168, who asks, "Hey Farron, big fan of the channel." Well, thank you very much. "My question is whether you think too many of us live in echo chambers. If so, how do you avoid this? Are there any conservatives you make a habit of reading, watching, listening to, etc.?" Now that is a good question, because the answer is yes, too many of us do live in these echo chambers. But who do I make a habit of reading, watching, or listening to on the right? Nobody. I mean, literally nobody. But here is what I do. I often seek out nonpartisan news sources, with the exception of Raw Story, obviously super left-leaning, but I'm very good friends with the guys who started Raw Story. I love what they do, and I think they're phenomenal. But Mediaite is not partisan. Now, some of their stories are definitely partisan, but overall, you can get good, unfiltered news there, so you're not living in the echo chamber. The Hill. I use The Hill frequently, and they are definitely not a left-leaning group. They are definitely down the middle. I use CNN, and I don't care what the Republicans say, CNN is not left-leaning. CNN is definitely middle of the road, but I don't watch them. I read the articles that they produce, because that's where that's the only place they actually do real news. News Nation, I think, is also pretty good. Other than that, I do go to news aggregates that'll pull stuff from the left and from the right, so I do get an idea of what people on the right are saying, and sometimes I will use those right-wing articles as sources to debunk the bullcrap. But we do live in echo chambers, and that, of course, causes a problem. For the right, it creates cohesion. They get this sense of camaraderie, this sense of belonging, because we're in our echo chambers, but it also leads to problems, right? That's why they believe the election is stolen. That's why, they believe all these horrible things about migrants, and they believe that Hunter Biden is the most evil person to ever exist, because they're in that echo chamber bubble. On the left, yeah, we've got echo chambers, and yes, it is to our detriment to a degree, but we also have honesty and truth. So it's never good to be in an echo chamber, but there are echo chambers that are better than others. I do encourage people to seek out news outlets beyond your, comfort zone. But you don't have to go too far into the right, because that stuff will drive you crazy, because they just make stuff up. So it's difficult to say, yes, I'm going to start reading right-wing news to see what those lunatics are saying, because they just lie their faces off, and it's only going to cause you more anger. So seek out the independent news sources is my advice. If you want to get out of the echo chamber, you don't have to go to the left, you don't have to go to the right. Go down the middle and then make sense of it for yourself. That's what I try to do as often as possible, but it's not always possible because the right is pretty crazy. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.